Hey Buddy Fighters, welcome back to another video. I'm going to try and slow down my pace here from all this excitement, but we have some new products coming to you, and I'm really just trying not to rush at this point, but we got the special series, which is the Impact Triple Punisher, which the Buddyfight website has basically put in down info talking about the cards revealed at Core for a special series and other stuff like that, so I'll leave a link to everything, of course, in the description below, and talk about some of the stuff that we've got. So I'm using the Buddyfight website for this, and we'll look at some other stuff from the stuff on Spoiler. So we also have new cards right here from Buddy Lineage, or Buddy Chronicles in the Japanese version, and we got new Osmodai and tons of other cards, so you can check out Buddy Spoiler, check them out for yourself, and I'm going to quickly go over them at the end, so I'll leave a timestamp to that right now. So, first off, let's talk about this. So we got really nice shortcuts. So let's start with Dragon World. So we've got Gargantua Dragon Tempest mode. Buddy rare Dragon World that has a powerful triple attack, and if you enter by G evolution, his critical goes up to 4. But of course, when this card attacks 3 or more times, my mistake, then it gets critical +1. So 4 crit triple attack is definitely not something that you want to be messing with. So that is really nice. And of course, you get a Buddy rare version of the evolution. You get Gargantua Dragon Return mode. I don't know why I had some trouble saying that. This Garga is exclusive only for your deck, and when he enters the field, you can search for any monsters among the top 3 cards of your deck and add them into your hand. So basically, if he enters the field, you can put up to 1 Deity Dragon type monster, and then G-Evo allows you to add any card from among them into your hand. So essentially, you're going +2, plus he's got Move and Soul Guard. Still waiting for mode switch, which I don't believe is in this, or at least we don't have confirmation of that yet, along with mode switches for Katana World or other Garga worlds. So far we haven't got that, and that's pretty much a big issue competitive wise, but just to see like the art and just the playability and the effects of these cards, they're absolutely amazing. So we've got Takoyaki is the best Garcat. So when you gain life with this Garcat, you not only gain life, draw, and gauge, I meant to say that in the other way, but you basically gain gauge, additional life, and hand cards, which is basically what I'm reading off right there. Crazy card, and it is once per turn, but you can just call another one and use the effect again because it's once per turn per card. So definitely a strong card, and something that's really nice to get in the deck. We got reprints of DD Green Dragon Shield, and of course you can be getting that 3 life with alternate art as well, which is very nice. And of course we've got a Dragon World new item, so it doesn't have immunity like the other items that we have in DD Dragon Tribe so far, but it's got 6/1, and it gains double attack and critical +2 when you gain life. So essentially, when you gain life, you're getting off lots of effects of your cards and getting some bonus attacks, hand cards, and gauge, which is just absolutely incredible. And of course, for every single DD Gargantua Punisher from Magic, Katana, and Dragon, in case you somehow didn't infer that those are the triple Punisher decks, we also get special ace bordering that's usually SP foiling on every single Gargantua Punisher art, which we're going to have a look at. So, let's get on to Katana World. Now, really love the art for these ones. We got Gargantua Jiraiya Dragon. So the Katana World Jiraiya uses the ability of Replicate, so very similar to Wind Demon Dragon that we got that has the counteract, but this activates on enter, and it's not a counter. So you place 2 cards face down on your field, and they basically become tokens, and with the Drag God ability, and he also has an additional ability of giving power and critical to all Drag Gods on your field, which is pretty insane. So you're basically getting 2 more 3 crit monsters to attack with, and he's got Move and Soul Guard as well. So, you've got Gargantua Kirigure Dragon. So, claim any card you want from your deck when this card enters field. So, basically, you're allowed to search for Ninja Arts when it enters. And if it enters by G Evolution, you gain 2 life and deal additional damage to your opponent, which is really great. And, come on, that art is just incredible as well. When I saw this, my mind was pretty much blown. Just like Katana World just has some of the best art in the game. So, of course, we have Battle Dog Under the Moon Nindog. So, basically, when it enters the field, you gauge for each DD Dragon type monster in your field. Fairly simple. There is another size 0 included in this deck that is basically Boomerang Dragon for DD Dragon Tribe. So, essentially, when you enter, you can get 3 gauge, which is really nice. Ninja Arts Hiding in Fallen Leaves. So, based to counter, gain 3 life, but when it's dropped, or what people was calling it before, discard, you gain a life and draw a card, which is just a really solid effect, especially because a lot of cards nowadays have effects that force you to discard cards in your hand. So essentially, not only are you gaining effects when you have to, but if you're forced to drop a card, you can just drop this in emergencies and still gain back cards and extra effects. We also have DD Dragon Tribe, Dotone, Cliff Spinning Wall. So basically, it's a Ninja Arts. You nullify, you can drop a hand card. If you do, gauge 2 and draw. So if you pair this up with the card we just had a look at, Ninja Arts Hiding in Fallen Leaves, you discard that, you get to gauge 2, draw, then gain a life and draw. So essentially, you're comboing cards and getting a lot more effects, which is really great. Okay, we also have DD Gargantua Punisher, Katana World version with Garga in the Moonlight, and of course some incredible art as always. Moving on, we have Magic World Garga. Now, this is completely new, and we do have confirmation that it does have a secret pack and more support to come in the basically BTO3, which is the third set for Buddyfight Ace. So, we're getting to a Flare Mage right here. So, when this card attacks, if you can put a spell from your drop zone to the bottom of your deck, if you do for this turn, this card gets double attack. Then, if it entered by G Evolution, sorry, if it has a soul with G Evolution, not entered, then it gets quadruple attack. So you're getting 4 attacks, which is pretty crazy. So you can clear walls, clear your opponent's field, take out their monsters, whatever you want to do, and 4 attacks is definitely not something you want to mess with. So it's slightly more aggressive, but it also allows you to return cards back to your deck sometimes, which can sometimes be helpful, especially when you're getting milled or having to deal with certain cards. So we got Gargantuan Ice Mage right here. So basically when it enters the field, you gain a life, then after by G Evolution, you gain 3 life and draw a card with move and soul guard. So a lot of these cards seem to be getting you effects, so you also have like an offensive mode and you also have a defensive mode. So from what I'm thinking, we should be getting a mode switch for every single world in this, which could make the deck quite expensive, but who knows. I definitely have a lot of these cards where you want to switch in between forms, because you have this, which is a really nice gain 5 life draw card defense form, and that's getting you 2 or 4 attacks. So another Magic World card, we got Magic Bird. So Magic Bird together with Flare Mage can become harder to destroy, and you can also draw cards as well. So you're basically showing combos within sub, which is really cool. So when it attacks, you can put a card from your drop zone, the soul of a monster on your field. If you do, draw a card, and of course it also has Soul Guard as well. So it can be put into his own soul or into Dragod's soul as well. So great spell, Circle of Deity Dragon. Now this card is crazy. Number one, because it's a set, so it does have to stay on your field, which is a bit unfortunate. But because it doesn't require a certain cost or isn't like retained only to Deity Dragon Tribe, it is usable with basically everything else. So its first ability isn't too great, but it's nice because you get a 1/1 buff to all Deity Dragon Tribe. But that second effect is what really is just eye-popping. So at the start of your opponent's turn, you choose a spell in your drop zone, and you can drop a hand card. If you do, put the chosen card into your hand. So you're basically setting yourself up by grabbing any spell you want. Do keep in mind it has to be at that certain timing at the start of your opponent's turn, and this could possibly collide with, let's say, battle buildings that have their set spells that start at the beginning of turn, but it does start with turn players, so you do know that battle buildings are going to be going off first before the set spell if it's the beginning of the opponent's turn, because it's the turn player. But still a really great card nonetheless, and it allows you to recycle and reuse your spells, which is absolutely solid. So grab back the defense spell, maybe grab back a mode switch or whatever. If Magic World gets one, maybe that gain life, draw a defensive card, whatever you may need. And of course, Deity Gargantuan Punisher for Magic World. It's really easy to use. So its requirements are, it's your usual Gargantuan Punisher, but the only requirement it has is that you cast a spell this turn and have a Dragon on your field, which is easy. You just pay 2 gauge, slam your opponent for 5 damage, and they're just done for. So people are thinking about OTKs with Blade Mage and other stuff, which is definitely interesting, but yeah, oh my gosh, my breath is just gone at this point. Okay, let's move on to True Awakening of Deities. So this will be released on January 11th, 2019 in English, so a little bit of time to wait, but definitely seeing magic. So there is still one more unannounced world. I think it's going to be light. It definitely could be anything. Anything's out on the table. We could maybe get something to counter, what's his name? Masato, because we also had Subaru, who had his anti-rival, whatever you want to call it, or rival, Seiji, who played Magic World and got support in set 2. So I'm assuming we're going to get a rival for Masato in the anime, whose cards are going to be in set 3. Maybe that is light. Maybe we're finally going to be getting light stack, but we've definitely seen a pattern of the third set being pretty insane and busted for the most part, with an overturned Thunder Empire and Buddyfight X and some other crazy stuff like Drums Adventure, which I'm pretty sure was groundbreaking at the time, or was pretty big. With Dungeon World finally coming out, like another world. And yeah, I mean, I don't really think it's necessarily a solid pattern, but we're definitely going to be seeing some new cards. And we also have this new card right here, Mystics Knights and Fire. 2 new attributes. Oh, actually no, Fire isn't new, but Mystic Knight is. It's basically an interesting new archetype. We don't have too much information, but its ability is whenever you cast a fire spell for this turn, all Mystic Knights in your field bet 3/3. And during the beginning of your attack phase, if this card has power 12,000 or more, for this turn, all Mystic Knight on your field get double attack with Soul Guard. So being able to give double attack to everything on your field is just a really great effect off the bat. So it definitely seems like it's going to be one of the main cards in the deck. Maybe, I don't know, this is the card, the buddy of maybe Subaru's rifle. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But we do know that Ancient World, the 3 main characters, Masato, Yuka, and Subaru, are going to be getting small support in this as well. Okay, Now, these are the big cards. Now, where do I even start? Okay, let's start off with this Lost Modi. This Lost Modi is insane. Is he busted? Yes. Is he not busted? Yes. He's just crazy. When this card enters the field, you draw a card, even though it is 2 gauge. If you have 2 or more other 72 pillars in your field, you can drop a hand card. If you do, return all cards in your opponent's field to hand. So you're returning every single card. Their monsters, their items, their spells. And this is just a really great effect because, number one, 72 pillars have their set spell, sorry, not their set spell, their counter spell, that can call 72 pillars from drop, even if it is 1 gauge, and they also have their book from Buddy Legends, which allows them to counteract call the 72 pillars from hand. So combo this in, for beginning, let's say we're going up against Garga, right? Garga has no return protection at all. Let's say you somehow pop him, get rid of his soul, and even if they have an item that's immune to destruction, they can be bounced back to hand. So you counteract call this and just wipe everything back to your hand, and your opponent is just completely vulnerable for that turn. And because of that counter call, it's just really great. And of course, you randomly get to draw a card as well. And of course, when a card in your opponent's field is turned to hand by card effects, your opponent chooses and drops a hand card. That is definitely very strong. And double attack. So we can be used offensively during your turn, during your opponent's turn, just because it's an on-enter effect. And of course, that continuous ability of dropping a hand card is something really annoying to your opponent. And of course, we also have the old Osmode Overturn, which is really solid. You can use this with this as well, of course. And you never know what other 72 pillar support they could get, but this is definitely bringing 72 pillars back. And definitely something that is going to appeal to Magic players. Okay, Yamigeto SD. Now, we finally get some 100 demon support, and this is big because of its second ability. But first off, it's counteract during your turn. You choose a size 300 demons on your field. If you do put this card from the field into chosen card soul, if you do stand it, so getting another attack in, absolutely amazing. And the Thunder Mine. Now, this is the big thing. When your opponent draws a card by card effects, this card is in the soul of a monster, deal 1 damage to your opponent. Now, this is insane because, number one, it's not once per turn, and of course, you can stack multiple of these Thunder Mines into a soul at a time. So essentially, whenever your opponent is drawing a card, this Thunder Mine is going off individually for each card. So you can basically stack this. Let's say you have 2 in soul. Every time I'm drawing a card, I'm going to be taking 2 damage. And that's pretty crazy, because if I'm doing that multiple times, I'm going to get burned for a lot, especially a lot of decks that don't have reduced effects, like, let's say, Astro Dragons, Garga, stuff like that. They're going to be hit real hard, and 100 Demons have pretty good draw power, which they got some great support from Buddy Legends, so a few more cards can really push them high up there, and it's definitely interesting to see. Okay, Omni Lord support. I'm really excited for this one. So, with 3 cards from your drops in this card, soul and pay 2 gauge. Unfortunately, Maziria's defense has gone back a bit, but having 3 soul is just really great. Even if you are getting rid of some defense and leaving yourself a bit more vulnerable, it's got this counteract. So call up to 1 monster with Omni Lord other than Roy Maziria, which is basically this card. From your drop zone, by paying its call cost, that card becomes a size 0 until it leaves the field with double attack, soul guard, and only lifelink 2 compared to a lifelink 10, which really hurt Omnis because that was like the one card you want to get out there and just swing your opponent like crazy. But if you're not able to take out your opponent, or if they destroy that Mazira, you're taking lifelink 10, and that is instantly going to kill you. So yeah, that was a really big downside to the Maziria, but this is really nice. And of course, being able to counter call Omnis from drop zone is just a really great ability. So yeah, definitely having 3 soul, it gives a lot more protection when it comes to destruction and defending your center and life, especially because you have to destroy it 4 times to get it out of the field, and that is definitely a great card. Okay, where do we go? We've also got Burn Nova. So, during your opponent's turn, call this card from your hand by paying its call cost, so, you know, the usual Burn Nova. So, drop all 1 or more hand cards and pay 3 gauge. This card on the field cannot be rested, and its ability cannot be nullified by your opponent's card effects, and that is really nice. So, basically, you're guaranteed to get those attacks in. Of course, with 12,000 power, 3 critical and penetrate, and triple attack, that is not going to be easy to deal with. And because someone pointed this out, you can also, because the call cost is dropping, you can drop, let's say, the Ninja Arts, Alwidol from Legend World. Any card that gets an effect when it's discarded will be able to activate with this card. And compared to the old Burn Nova, this does not require you to discard all cards from your field. And that's pretty insane. And of course, as the usual, when it's card on your field, this card cannot be destroyed, you cannot be dealt damage. Granted, your opponent can still attack other stuff on your field, and still, you know, it doesn't end their turn or their attack phase, but it's still a really strong, solid card. So yeah, maybe this will be Cyborg coming up. Maybe it'll be a really sought-out card. Who knows? It's definitely a strong one and one to be watched. Okay, Abigail. Not much really to say about this Abigail. It's pretty solid. When it's destroyed, you drop top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. And if there's a monster on them, draw a card. Again, if your opponent's, let's say, playing something like swords, that's not going to be happening for you, which is a bit unfortunate. But usually you are going to probably be getting this effect off. And of course, you're going to be protecting all of your black dragons completely. Okay, we also have this Azidahaka. So, put a card from your field and drops on a pay 3 gauge. All cards in the field cannot be rested by opponent's card effects. Unfortunately, he's still really immune. Sorry, not immune, but easily vulnerable to return effects, which some people really still don't like. But when he's destroyed, you get to check the top 3 cards of your deck. One is your hand, rest in the bottom of the deck in any order, and the counteracts pay a life. You do stand all items in your field with move and triple attack. And we also got this new spell, which can give all your items on your field penetrate and double attack. So essentially, you're getting a 7 crit double attacker with penetrate that can be standed. And that's definitely lethal. That's not something you want to mess with, and I'm definitely scared of Dragon Ein for the most part. I mean, don't get me wrong. One of the items do have effects that can't be nullified, but they do have some crazy power. And this is definitely something that Dragon Ein players want to be looking out for, and some great support for the deck. So Bushi is really showing that with a few cards, they really can push and bring back a deck back from the dead, or maybe from those that weren't too popular. So yeah, also has that great second effect to put up to 1 card with Azidahaka's card name and up to 1 Dragon Throne. So I don't think this is really going to replace the Searcher completely, but I mean, it's really just up to preference, but it's a solid card in Dragon Ein. Okay, oh my gosh, there's so many more cards to go through. Okay, new Athora. Really it's Adamant Athora, except you now have Penetrate, triple attack, and you have additional ability of during opponent's turn. When you cast a spell, burn 1. I really don't think it's that great. Adamant was just better because it had the counter call, and this also just doesn't, because really Prisms want to have that solid defense and just burn your opponent with damage that is going to take them out. And Adamant really helped do that because it stopped all damage of your cards from being reduced. This card is supposed to be more of an aggressive player once you have to use your overturn and then try and hit your opponent hard with that triple attack 3 crit and then afterwards burn them. It does have that extra 10k power, so if you pair this up with Alto Ground and with your item, you're getting 13,000 power and defense, which is quite insane. But also when it's put on top, it doesn't give you that extra soul either, and it's still really reliant on not being returned or its soul being dropped, because that's still pretty vulnerable. That leaves you pretty vulnerable. I mean, there is mystery setting, but you're not always going to be guaranteed to get that. And again, it doesn't have that ability to put top card attack into soul. And of course, you do have Mirror Valley, but there's just so many destruction effects out there. You can't really guarantee that for sure. So honestly, I think it's great that Prism Dragons are getting support, that they're acknowledging previous decks. I just don't like the card. Tell me what you think. I'm just really not the guy to really like Prisms at all. Of course, we have a new Beausoleil. This one has a lot more weaknesses, but trades it off for a lot of more aggressiveness. So not only do you get triple attack, but you get all damage reduced by 2 and 4/4 to your stats if it has soul. So now it's going up to 12/12, which is really crazy. It's not completely busted. I mean, its abilities can be nullified. Granted, you can use something like, what's the name of the card? Buddy option to give it that extra ability defense, because that's not built in, unlike the previous Beausoleil Dios. And of course, it needs to have soul, so if its soul is dropped, which I assume some dragons are going to get a new card to prevent that, then it leaves you pretty vulnerable because it's not a continuous effect. I mean, it is a continuous effect, but only if it has soul. So it's interesting. It definitely leaves more aggressiveness, so that might be a bit more scary, but Dios had it a lot more of a solid defense while also giving good offense, and I think this is definitely more of an aggressive card. But yeah, 4/4 going to 12/12 allows you to definitely hit basically anything. Okay, moving on. Okay, we got bots. This bots, in my opinion, is pretty bad. People are like, oh my gosh, Thunder Empire's getting support, they're gonna become busted again. And then you look at this bots, you're like, yeah, maybe that's not gonna happen. So I mean, Busher didn't go overboard. They're kind of like, oh, here's another bot. He's pretty good. He's just a normal bots. I mean, there's really nothing new that's here. I mean, that continuous crit +1 is really nice, and I guess Thunder Empire does have the pieces and stuff to get immunity to rest and destruction, and being returned to hand. I mean, he already has built-in non-destruction, but putting 2 Thunder Empire field drops on 1 gauge, that's a bit costly. But I mean, hey, if you don't have your overturn, or you wanted something to sideboard that can just hit your opponent real hard without having to use overturn, because Corpse was only once per game and nothing else really had this kind of high crazy stacking critical, then go for it. And of course, your Thunder Empire player, I don't think he's that bad. Maybe try him out. Honestly, haven't tested myself, but at first glance, he looks pretty bad. I'm not going to lie. Even though I am technically a Thunder Empire fan, I'm not really a fan of the card. Okay, this card right here, it just blew my mind when I read it. So it's got 926, but this card on top of a monster in your field and pay 2 gauge. When this card is reviewed by card effects, you drop the top 4 cards of your deck, put up to 1 card from among them into your hand, and the rest into this card's soul. So essentially you get 3 free soul, and a free hand card just from calling it, and it has move and soul guard built in, with the counteract of dropping a soul, only 1. If you do, for this turn it gets triple attack and counter attack. Now, I'm not a Star Dragon World hater, and this definitely has a lot of weaknesses here, but Star Dragon World can definitely abuse this card. I don't think it's game breaking or anything like that, but you also have Galaxy Wing, and you have the size, was it 0 Dragon Arms that allows you to call size 2 or less from your hand. So you can basically spam Jackknives, call onto this, get free soul hand cards, hit your opponent hard for triple attack, and you can easily get some additional crit and extra bonuses from your additional effects. Then call Overturn Jackknife on top of this if you really want to use Overturn on your opponent's turn, or call Aster and just have a ton of soul stacked on this. And then afterwards, still Impact Call and do a ton of other stuff. So this card's pretty insane. I don't think it's necessarily busted, but it's definitely a strong card that I don't want to see my opponent have. So yeah, definitely a crazy card, and triple attack, just free triple attack. Okay. Dual Jaeger's hitting something. This thing is basically a combination of Dynamite and Revolted. There really isn't much to say about this. It doesn't have anti-rest, it doesn't have anti-soul drop, but I mean, you get a lot of soul. You overturn Jaeger, you use the overturn Jaeger, basically you get free 5 soul, and then you put this on top, you got 11 soul with quadruple soul guard, and yeah, Dragon Emperor Legend, still a meme, I guess, always a meme, I don't know. We also have Armor Knight support. Yeah, Armor Knights are actually getting support. I know. I was pretty blown away too. I mean, it's nothing really too special. It's kind of like the Overturn, not the Overturn, but the Thunder Empire Cerberus we got, except slightly better because you get to draw a card and it gets double attack. But I mean, other than that, I don't think it's going to bring Armor Knights back from the dead. I was really hoping more so for Tyrant support, but I mean, whatever. It's cool. Cool new support. Zodiac X, oh yeah, and do keep in mind, these 4 cards that we don't have an image for yet were from the Core magazine. And this is just a crazy new Death's Impact, 3 gauge, 6 damage. And then pop a card, the monster that attacked. So, this Zodiac, I don't really know what to say about it. It just enters, and then it's basically like, yeah, no, your cards can't attack for this turn. That's quite unfortunate. And you're just sitting there being like, okay, what is this, the new Athora? And then your game just goes on. It's a solid card, definitely. And it prevents all your opponent's cards from attacking. All I see this as being really annoying. Will it bring Zodiac back from the dead? I don't know. Beats me. But it's definitely an annoying card. And being able to just enter, especially because it's a counteract call, you basically just say, yeah, no, your cards aren't attacking this turn. Basically. Okay. My voice is dead. We've gone over everything. Oh, wait, no, we haven't. There's a new Levitine. Hurrah! A new Levitine. Okay, what does it do? It's basically the start of your attack phase. You search for 1 hero item for your deck and equip it without paying its equip cost. Why? It's a secret pack card. I don't know why this card exists. It just does. It was randomly revealed at a regionals, and yeah, it's a Levitine support. We also got stuff for Chaos 3. No new Gear God yet, but we got a new Oni Assassin right here, which is pretty darn good. We have got a new play card, which is really solid as well, and a new dual golem card, which is really great. And this card that scared a lot of people who hated Thunder Empire, which basically allows you to stand your entire field to attack again if you have Overturn or Overthrow used before in the fight. So, yeah, here's the size 0 I was talking about, but there really isn't much to say. There's a lot of Dimension Destroyer cards, you want to look over them. The SPs look absolutely amazing. But that's basically everything that there is to say. We already have all of these. We went over basically all of them. Let's just quickly go over these ones. Why not? We have Examinate. Really nice grab. Get Spell. Getting free resources. This card, which allows you to nullify all abilities of a monster or get free debuffs. This, Gauge 2, and you add the card we just looked at back to your hand. You also have Blade Mage, which you talked about. Actually, no, I don't believe we talked about Blade Mage. Blade Mage is actually in the Secret Pack, and when you cast a spell, you get Destroy Monster opponent's field. And about this card attack, if you have a soul with G Evolution, you can put 6 different cards from your jobs on the bottom deck in any order. If you deal 5 damage to your opponent. So just like that, you deal 5, and then let's say your opponent was at 10 life. They're down to like 5 now, or whatever, 3, and then you just punish them when they're basically dead. So yeah, that's a thing. So there you go. That's Magic World. I didn't really think there's much else to say. Really, I'm just excited for this, and my throat is now dead. Hopefully I went over everything, and I wanted to talk about pricing, because people were a little bit worried about pricing when it came to the Triple Punisher, and I want to talk about that really quickly, but my throat's dead. So Ideal 808 is a decently big retailer for Buddyfight in the US, so I want to talk about this is US pricing, of course. So we had the Golden Money Champion box being $60. This is for 3 decks, and they were basically pretty big at the time with really good support. And of course, Zeta being a brand new deck, people wanted to get their hands on that. And of course, I mean, you get 3 Buddy Rares, and this was basically a new thing for English. Like, this was untold of. I mean, like, what? We're getting 3 Buddy Rares guaranteed in this one product? Granted, they weren't the greatest in the world, but I mean, to actually get Buddy Rares and fully printed foils in like a crazy set like that was huge at the time, and that sold out like crazy. X Dual Chest, that's sold out like crazy as well. Well, I mean, it's in stock here, but you get the point. It sold pretty well. $45, and the decks were pretty good as well, and they had Buddy Rares as well. But I do see a pattern of Ace products being lower priced, which I can definitely work for. And I'm hoping that going forward, Buddyfight will become a lot cheaper and affordable, especially with them getting a lot more revenue and other stuff as well. So I'm probably estimating around maybe 60, maybe 55 US dollars. It's really hard to say at this point. The Special Series deck was 40, but that had a lot of really nice printing because Lost World was a new thing, and that took, you know, a lot of magenta ink to print. But I mean, it's really hard to say. I'd probably say $60 makes sense. Maybe a bit more expensive, maybe even less, because it's an Ace thing now, and Bushiroad can afford to sell it cheaper. But this is definitely something you want to pick up. 3 decks, unless you really hate Garga, you really hate main characters, you just really don't want a Garga deck, then I'd say buy this product. Just get it. I mean, I don't see why you shouldn't, because it's just so much fun to play with. You get 3 different decks, even if they are technically similar, because they're all Garga decks, which is a bit disappointing. But it's really great to see that, and it's really cool to see Bushiroad acknowledge it. And I mean, these decks have crazy foiling, really good decks. Again, decks that you can legit just bring to tournaments and play. I mean, they're not going to win you a regional, but they're really good. And you can definitely just destroy some players with it. And, you know, it's a main character deck. So if you enjoy the show and you want to support Buddyfight, or really just a collector of the card, then, I mean, there's no reason not to buy this product. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely wait for Christmas or something. Let me just check the release date really quickly. It is actually released in December, which is really nice. The 7th of December, right before Christmas. So I definitely get this for Christmas. I see what you're doing there, Bushiroad, even though it comes out earlier in Japan, not in December. But I mean, the English release date is December 7th, and this product is just something you definitely want to get your hands on, especially if you're a collector, especially if you just, you know, enjoy the game. And with 3 decks, you can split it among 3 friends and just have a lot of fun back and forth, and you can have so much buddy fights. And yeah, definitely recommend getting this product. I don't think there's much else to say. My throat is now dead, and hopefully you see this upload. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I guess leave a like, subscribe, whatever, and I'll see you guys another time.